I've experienced all sorts of gods and entities, and also there's a purple woman that I regularly see during DMT states.
And we had some sort of job, which is a real bummer. We were trying to figure out how to keep this portal open or this gateway open or something. We got done with work that day, and there was a carnival. And there's a Ferris wheel, and there's some guy playing a piano, and then this dancing purple gypsy woman comes out. And it's like I've known her for lifetimes. Like I've spent thousands of lifetimes with this woman, and it's just been a while since I've seen her.
Didn't your friend see the woman?
Yeah. And
didn't your friend tell you that the woman was your girlfriend without you telling him that she was your girlfriend?
He might have had too much. Then finally, he sits back, this smile comes on his face, and he is just like, "Oh, they love you here." And I was like, yeah, there's like a real sense of like love or going home or belonging or something. He's like, no, they love you, Shane. And I was like, what are you talking about? And he goes, there's this purple woman in here that says that she knows you really well, and she just wants you to know that she cares about you. And I was like, what are you talking about? And he's like, I'm in this carnival, and there's this Ferris wheel, and this guy playing a piano, and there's this purple dancing gypsy woman that says that she knows you. I didn't talk for about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
How did your friend get the message that she was your girlfriend if she doesn't exist?
Exactly. I mean, do you want the full explanation? It's long-winded, believe it or not.
Hello everybody, the following is a clip from my podcast with comedian Shane Mauss, and if you want to see the entire podcast that's almost 3 hours long, you're gonna have to subscribe to my Patreon. That means it's behind a $2 paywall. I apologize for having to do this. The thing is, most of my videos get demonetized, and this is my full-time gig, so the primary way that I make any money off doing this as a job is from people pledging on Patreon. Now, I will be systematically releasing more clips of this podcast and others on YouTube, and full disclosure, this video with Shane Mauss was filmed months and months ago, right at the start of me getting clean, meaning I'm not in the absolute best mental space, and you can tell I'm pretty slow. I kind of look a little uninterested. I'm really kind of disappointed in just how I am in this podcast. So anyway, all that being said, let's run the clip, and I hope you guys all enjoy. Cheers.
Yeah.
How did your friend get the message that she was your girlfriend if she doesn't exist?
Exactly. I mean, do you want the full explanation? It's long-winded, believe it or not. I'll put it as simply as I possibly can, and as quickly as I can. So we're just talking about a level of processing in the mind where you're remembering different individuals in your life that you need to keep track of. Now there's also more raw layers of processing in the mind, that is the like emergence of these archetypes and templates. When robots were first being trained to identify things, for it to be able to identify this table, it would have been, need to show basically every kind of table at every angle for it to identify the table. And now say you have one of those tables that's like a tree trunk cut out and it's turned into a table. If it hadn't been shown that, it wouldn't be able to identify that as a table, because it needs to just through raw matching. Whereas we have an archetype of a table in our mind, what I think the purple woman is, and I engaged with her many times since and debated her on what she is many times in DMT experiences after said story, and I do think that she is she's an archetype of a female that we all have inside of us all of the time, and maybe looks a little bit different to everyone and everything else, and also.
So your friend just saw you had a girlfriend.
I was also there. And there's like a blending of like my friend having like warm feelings towards me, and there was also music playing with a female.
But where
voice.
did the purple come from?
I don't know. I mean, I think I kind of talk about this in my show a little bit. Have you seen have you seen the movie Inside Out?
Yes.
So I do think that we have characters like that in our heads, at least metaphorically. So say you have joy and sadness and anger and everything. You go like, if you saw those characters, if you actually met those characters, and everyone has an anger looking thing. They're like that, but they're like, why red? Why are they all red? And like, I don't know. They're all just red. I don't know why
Now you come up with
all of
some
our
ideas why
anger
they're red.
characters are.
There's so many references here.
b-
When you get angry, you turn red. Red's the color of blood.
Exactly.
Red means stop. When you're angry, you want to stop, but you can't. There's so many things.
Exactly. Purple could be
Purple's royalty.
The way that the way that it's true. It could be it could also just be the blending of what red and blue, and then also it could be just what a bit of light looks like behind closed eyelids. Yeah, I don't know. I've spent a lot of time thinking about that.
You are really
purple
trying to make
woman.
sense out of the shit that you can't make sense of. It's fun. It is a fun thought experiment. I agree.
Yeah,
I mean, I do the same thing. I'm not criticizing you for it.
yeah.
But there comes a point where you have to just kind of step back, and I'm sure you do this too. You look at your sense making, and you're like, it still doesn't fucking make sense.
Oh, I'm not overly committed to any of my
Right.
ideas. I do think that they are lovely inspiration for future.
The purple woman still
curiosities.
doesn't make any sense. Like, this is like really trying hard.
Yeah, what do you think it is?
The woman?
Yeah,
I'm not trying to sound arrogant by any means. This is your experience. You have more insight into it than I do.
lots of people experience her.
The purple woman?
Yeah.
See, here's where I am lacking insight. I didn't know that.
A lot of people. Yeah.
Wow.
Want to see her? I'll pull up a picture.
The purple woman?
Yeah. Yeah, there's an artist, Hakan Hism, who drew her. I actually found
But hold on.
him.
He drew her after your story?
Nope.
Oh, he had the same
I
experience.
found her, this
So
picture
now
of her.
we're talking essentially about shadow people.
No, I think this is just what a woman looks like in your subconscious mind. That's her.
Interesting. You know what I mean by shadow people, right? A lot of people experience shadow people.
No.
Does it mean shadow people are real? You've never researched shadow people?
No.
They always have a top hat or a hood.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, and you open your eyes from a dream, and they're usually just there for a moment. They call them shadow people. So I had an experience
What
with
kind
a
of
shadow
person would you be? A top hat or a hood?
Here's
if
the
you had
trippy
to
thing.
be one?
So I had an experience with a shadow person, and I didn't know what shadow people were. And similar to the purple girl, you probably didn't know that this was a common thing. I look up shadow people, and lo and behold, the first thing that shows up is they either have a top hat or a hood. And I saw two shadow people. Sorry, three. Two of them had hoods. One had a top hat. And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Am I crazy?
Why do people see cats on DMT?
So your take is, shadow people, similar to the purple lady. These are things that people think is unique to them, but apparently it's not unique to us. Like, thousands of people have seen shadow people. I'm sure however many have seen the purple lady. You think that this is just a common theme?
And I actually think that people that believe in universal consciousness and mysticism and those sorts of interpretations of the experience also disregard experiences to their liking. So like if I go like, oh, I had this experience and I experienced pure suffering and hell for 10 minutes, and I realized all of us are just here to like experience this just so after we die we get to remember how good it was to be here, and we just suffer for eternity and there's nothing you can do about it. People will be like, you're probably just like, what was going on with you? Were you like hungover that day or something? That was a hallucination. You didn't actually experience that. And then you go like, I saw a purple woman, and they're like, well, that's neat. There is definitely a purple goddess looking out for me that one day I'll get to dance around with in a carnival. And
No, but what made it interesting was that your friend saw the same thing.
Oh,
That's
I
what made
agree.
the story.
It's something that took a long time for me to even attempt to wrap my head around. But I also spent years talking about it and talking with her in DMT experiences. And in fact, the last time that I saw her, she was she also came to think that maybe she was just in my mind. And then she got, it was actually like really dark. We'd had a few things. She was like jealous of a girlfriend of mine and stuff. And then she built this cell out of codes around her and did this interpretive dance of her clawing at these codes to demonstrate what she felt like, realizing that she is just trapped in my head. And I was like, I don't know what to tell you, lady. Like, we all are trapped in our own heads. I don't know who you are or what you're doing. I hope you'll keep at it, whatever it is your job is or your purpose in my head, if that is the case. And so even the purple lady thinks that she's also just an archetype.
But how much of you is just terrified that there is more going on than that? Because I find it interesting that when you had your psychosis, what caused things to break was you finally starting, I say finally is the wrong word, was you just simply starting to believe that there are some actual crazy synchronicities going on beyond your control.
Yeah.
And that caused the psychosis. And now that you're back to your regular state, you're back to just fully believing that all these things happen in your head. How come when the two mesh, something in you breaks?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, again, like, I guess
Why is it so important to think that it's all in your head? Or is it important?
Oh, it's not.
It's not? Oh.
No. But it's also like, also when I had my break, there was a lot of really cool synchronicities and seemingly like, oh my gosh, maybe I can control the universe and there's this universal consciousness that I'm tapping into. I also thought that I hacked into Donald Trump's mind and had hijacked his brain and was going to like take myself to hospitalize myself to trap Donald Trump.
That's wild.
In a hospital. So, I mean, is it all like I'm not the one saying that it's all one thing
Right.
or another thing.
I'm just saying a lot of your explanations lean towards it's in your head. So the purple lady's in your head.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly my framework, and I have my own biases. I have my own chip on my shoulder.
Right, but
about
when your biases are
religiosity
challenged,
and,
you break.
I mean, I wouldn't say that's what made me break.
What do you think made you break?
Too many psychedelics, too much confusion coupled with anxiety. Months before my first break, I had my first panic attack in life. I'm not an anxiety person. I'm a depression person.
Those
and
aren't fun.
I know how
attacks.
to.
To me, it just looked like your framework was challenged and then you broke. But now you're explaining that it wasn't. It was more than that.
Yeah, I think there was a combination of a lot of factors. As
Makes sense.
Life
I agree. That'll do it. Yeah. That'll fucking do it.
I mean, ask me why the words that are coming out of my mouth are coming out of my mouth right now, and I'll tell you that, well, there's some like synaptic firing that happened because of whatever happened.
I do have a question for you that I was pondering before you came tonight, and we're on the topic, so I want to ask it.